The stars had never looked so dead. Kael Dray's ship drifted through the skeletal remains of a forgotten battlefield, a graveyard of shattered cruisers and burnt-out satellites. The hum of his reactor was the only sound, low and uneasy, as he scanned for salvageable tech. Then, through the static of his, comes something pulsed. A faint, rhythmic signal, slow, deliberate, impossible. He froze. The coordinates pointed toward a region of space that didn't exist on any chart. The scanners showed nothing but emptiness. Yet the beacon persisted, whispering across the void like a heartbeat. Kael adjusted the frequency, and a word broke through the distortion: Oblivion. His pulse quickened. That name hadn't been spoken aloud in decades. The Black Ship, the Dominion's ultimate war vessel, said to have carried the power of a dying star. It had vanished during the war's final days, taking an entire fleet with it. Every scavenger, historian, and treasure hunter had searched for it, and all had failed. Until now, he hesitated, staring into the darkness where the signal came from. He knew better than to chase ghosts. But something deep in his gut, curiosity, greed, maybe fate pushed him forward. One look, he muttered, throttling up his engines. Just one look. The stars began to bend. His instruments flickered, then went blind. Navigation alarms screamed as his ship was pulled into a distortion field so dense it seemed to swallow light itself. Then, as suddenly as it began, the chaos ended. The stars reappeared, dim and distant, and ahead of him. A shadow filled the VIEWPORT. It was vast, far larger than any ship he'd ever seen. Its hull was darker than space, absorbing starlight until it seemed more like a hole in reality than a vessel. No running lights, no power readings, no movement. But as Kael drifted closer, he saw faint patterns carved into the armor, markings that pulsed faintly, like veins under skin. He should have turned back. He knew that. Instead, he reached for the docking controls. "Let's see what secrets you've got left," he whispered. As his ship latched onto the Black Ship's hull, the beacon stopped. The silence that followed was absolute, until something deep within the vessel began to pulse again. Not through his scanners. Through his mind, the airlock opened with a sound like a sigh, ancient metal exhaling after a century of silence. Kael stepped inside, his helmet light cutting through layers of drifting dust. The corridor stretched before him, long and empty, walls scorched and warped by heat. His boots left faint prints on the deck, disturbing the silence that seemed to press in from all directions. The Black Ship was dead, yet it didn't feel abandoned. The air felt thick, charged with static, as though something unseen was still breathing. His suit's sensors flickered with inconsistent readings, heat where there shouldn't be any. Movement in places his eyes swore were still. He passed through a mess hall. Its tables overturned and plates fused to the metal floor. There were no bodies, no signs of a struggle, only shadows that felt too deep, like stains of something burned away. "No crew," he whispered, though the words barely left his throat. A faint light blinked at the far end of the room. A terminal, still active. Kael crossed to it, brushing away layers of grime. The screen came to life, spilling a dim glow across his visor. It displayed only one phrase, repeating endlessly: "Containment breach, level, Omega." Then the console flared. A figure appeared above it, a hologram flickering and fractured, but unmistakably human. A woman's face, serene and sorrowful, her voice soft and static-laced. "You shouldn't be here." Kael stumbled back, his pulse spiking. "Who are you?" "I am Isera," the hologram said, her image stabilizing slightly. "Navigator of the Oblivion's light. You are trespassing in the tomb of my crew, tomb." He echoed, "What happened here?" Her eyes flickered toward the dark corridor behind him. The Dominion built this ship to contain what should never have been touched, a living fragment of a dying star. We called it the Heart. They believed they could control it. They were wrong. Kael's breath caught. A fragment of a star. The heart consumes energy, thought, memory. It devoured them all. Her voice grew faint, almost trembling. "And now, because you've come, it stirs again." The lights along the corridor began to pulse, in rhythm with a deep, slow thrum that Kael felt in his chest. "It's awake," Isera whispered, "and it knows you're here." Kael followed Isera's flickering light through the labyrinth of the black ship. Each step took him deeper into its heart, where the hum of energy grew louder, pulsing like a heartbeat that didn't belong to anything human. The walls here were different, smooth and dark as obsidian, veins of golden light snaking beneath the surface. The air shimmered faintly, alive with heat. "This ship wasn't meant to fly," Isera said as they walked. "It was built as a prison. The Dominion thought they could contain the heart's power and bend it to their will. They were fools." Kael glanced at her. "Why didn't they destroy it?" "Because they worshipped it," she said quietly. "It was a god they believed they could chain." They entered a vast circular chamber. In its center hung the containment sphere, a globe of fractured light suspended by magnetic beams, its glow shifting between gold and crimson. It looked alive, breathing. Every few seconds, the light dimmed, and the temperature in the room dropped. Then it flared again, and the air rippled with heat. Kael stepped closer, unable to look away. "That's the heart." Isera's image shimmered beside him. Once it was a star, before the Dominion tore it open. They extracted its consciousness, its essence. The moment they did, it began to think. And to hate. He stared into the sphere. Shapes moved within fleeting silhouettes, faces forming and dissolving in the light. Whispers began to rise, too faint to understand. The closer he got, the clearer they became. They weren't just sounds, they were voices. "Kael," he froze. "That wasn't Isera. You came for the light." His chest tightened. The voice wasn't through his cums. It was inside his head. Isera turned sharply, her holographic form flickering with interference. "Don't listen to it. It's probing your mind, using your memories." The light flared again, so bright he had to shield his eyes. In that instant, he saw a vision himself, standing in the heart of a new sun, his name written across the stars. The heart was showing him a future of impossible power. When he blinked the light away, Isera's voice broke through the static. "Kael, the containment is failing. If it breaks free, there won't be a universe left to hold it." The heart pulsed once more, and the ship groaned around them like a living thing beginning to wake. The containment sphere cracked, open like glass under strain, and the chamber filled with burning light. Kael stumbled backward as the floor trembled, the sound of tearing metal echoing through the ship's vast corridors. Isera's holographic form flickered violently, her voice distorted. "It's breaking through. The heart is consuming the ship's power grid. Soon it'll have enough energy to escape." Kael's visor dimmed automatically, but even through the filter the light was unbearable. He could feel it pulling at him, not just his body, but his thoughts, his memories, his will. The voice was inside him again, soft and terrible. Why fight? You are made of the same dust I was. Let me burn again through you. He shook his head, teeth clenched. I'm not your vessel. Isera appeared beside him, her outline trembling. There's still a way to stop it, she said. The ship's reactor core can't hold forever. But if we merge our neural systems, yours and mine, we can trigger a controlled collapse. The explosion would consume the heart before it escapes. Kael stared at her, realization hitting like a physical blow. We'd die with it. Her expression softened, the faintest smile flickering through the distortion. We're already ghosts in this place, Kael. You just haven't realized it yet. The heart pulsed again, a shock wave of force hurling him to the floor. Fragments of molten metal drifted upward, drawn into the growing vortex of light. He could hear the ship screaming, its hull tearing apart under the strain. Kael forced himself to his feet. Do it, he said, before it's too late. Isera nodded, stepping closer. You'll need to open your mind to me. No walls, no fear. He closed his eyes. Her hand, warm, though she had no body, touched his chest, and suddenly he was everywhere. He felt the ship's systems, the dying hum of its engines, the raw fury of the heart's energy flooding every circuit. And he felt her calm, resolute, burning with purpose, together. They reached into the reactor and triggered the sequence. Light swallowed everything. The heart screamed, its brilliance collapsing inward as the black ship turned into a miniature sun. For one perfect moment, the void was filled with color, red, gold, white, and then it was gone. In distant skies, the flare was seen as a new star, blazing briefly before fading. Some called it rebirth, others the last light of the black ship.